Oh, alright. Driving. Whoa, what?
Okay, you ready for Jesus?
Of course.
Jesus is king.
Jesus is king.
Oh, I love a motel room, not even a hotel room.
Yes. So now you're reacting to the K-indie band called Hyukoh and a song from their 2017 album called 23. The band describes the LP as an exploration of the duality of youth, optimism for the future, and the pain and fear that accompanies it.
Girl.
Jesus lived in a motel room portrays the rebellious nature of youth, a time when we stray from the values we were raised with. But to stick to the duality theme of the album, the song ends with finding a way back to those values. This is a 100% English track and written and produced by Hyukoh, who is the main vocalist of the group.
Interesting. Okay. 3, 2, 1. It just kind of starts like a chorale.
Singing in a church.
Yeah.
This kind of sounds like pentatonics, doesn't it?
Very much like plain chant vibes.
Yeah, I love the acoustic.
Oh,
There's some weird dissonance in there that's really wild.
It's like a modern take on early motets.
Yeah. And here's the teenager part where you get the just heavy bass line.
I wonder if the voice will come back in, like that same vocal texture over this new band sort of texture.
or not.
Maybe eventually.
This is so good. I love the clarity and purity of the voice. There's nothing getting in the way. We've just got the downbeats in everything.
His voice is so like, oh my god.
It's like Hosier.
Like, say more.
He has a very like broad, full voice.
Oh, clean vocals.
Ooh, it's like an interesting whistle chorus kind
This
of.
is cool, just loaded with reverb.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting that they had such harmonic complexity in the very beginning, and this is like minor 1 to flat 7. It's just back and forth.
Ocean of Tears. Oh, I like the panning.
Do you have that on the left side?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Dun, dun.
It's just crazy how different this feels with the bum, 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 the triplets. Because like before it was like church from the 500s.
Oh, alright. Driving. Whoa, what? We're another meter now. Or not another meter. We're not swung anymore.
And there's a lot more rhythmic complexity going on with the 16th, along with the.
Oh, what a voice.
Ooh.
That's clean.
That was definitely the most powerful moment of the song
Yeah.
so far. Or ever. I don't know.
It's like the recap now.
And it imitates what the voice is doing. How he has
He goes up in those like.
well, he has
kinda
those little
leaps,
melismas in
and then they
between
just
his
come down. Yeah.
his melody.
It's got a very punk attitude where like he's not pronouncing very clearly, and it's part of his aesthetic, and the grammar isn't all correct. But I like his attitude.
And the chorus is a lot more satisfying. I think it has a lot more forward momentum because it sets up a lot stronger cadences to lead to the end of it versus the back and forth between the two chords of the previous sections. Like here, 4. Wait, that was a flat 6.
Oh. Hey. Hey. Nice. Ooh. Little planing, B minor to A minor.
Ooh.
Oh. No? Okay.
Pentatonics, like you said in the beginning. Sounds like pentatonics? It is pentatonics.
Okay.
Starting off like the pentatonic group, ending with the pentatonic
Ending with the
scale.
actual pentatonic scale.
That's odd that it ends, right? Ends. Yes. It's so odd that it ends with the guitar just by itself, like it started with the voice just by itself. So it's kind of like transformed by all that stuff in the middle.
I like the unresolved, because we get to a resolution and the guitar player is like, wait, and then he like goes down like some descending fifths or descending thirds or something, and then doesn't resolve it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it was just some pentatonic stuff at the very end.
Oh, okay.
Because all of the lyrics were like, I should have gone back, I should go back, I should go back. And then I thought the ending would be so much more similar to the beginning.
Yeah.
Because all the song was about going back.
And it was leading there.
And it kind of was.
But then it didn't.
Not quite.
I really like the imitative nature of the guitar and how he or she copied the voice part. So I think that's something that like instrumentalists do, like when there's Shepherd on the Rock for clarinet and voice, and like you are kind of supposed to like imitate what the voice does, and it's like kind of a very organic way of performing. Because it's not like you're making your part come to life and not really just playing the music.
I thought the meaning, I was like sitting here kind of like stone-faced the whole time because I was a little shook. Like, I feel like, I don't know, it's just something that hits very close to home. At least like
that's what I'm saying. It
the
feels
way,
like,
the way I experience college, or the way I've experienced college, like you get here from home and you're like so excited and you're like full of life, and then college like grinds you into dust and you like lose those values. You like lose your way. You're like, I'm young, I should be excited for the future, but I'm also terrified.
Yeah,
like it's this romantic idea of like finding your way back to the values you once had. So I was just like the lyrics were like really, 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 really good. And I feel like I feel like a lot of people can identify with that. And I thought the music did a great job of
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I
supporting
feel like,
that in a way.
I feel like that's what captured the spark of the song. It wasn't like necessarily the chord structure or the complexity of it. It's the meaning behind it, the words, and it's like, I don't know, it just went back to like the root of like singing and just like reaching people and touching people. I don't know why it touched me in a weird way. I don't know. It's
it's the meaning. The meaning is so important.
I think the song is about someone who is finding his faith and also finding where he belongs in life. And all of the gibberish contributes to the fact that he doesn't know. That's why, like, I should better get down on my knees. It's like, it's double uncertain. He's not sure if he should. He's double unfaithful. It's not I better get on my knees, or I should better get on my knees. So there's like, there's almost like another layer of doubt. I sense a lot of doubt. There's a lot of wishy-washiness, and I think it's all intended.
That kind of translates with the music a little bit. It's like you're trudging along. It's like bum, 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 bum. It's like, where's this going towards? Having such a straightforward beat. It's like, yeah, you have to question. It's like, where is this musical, musical decisions and musical phrasing is heading towards? And I actually really like the beginning, because you have this like almost Gregorian. Most of these chants were. Well, even now with Catholic churches.
Gregorian was in unison. It's sort of like neo-Renaissance, like bringing it back, but now you're allowed to write parallel fifths and you're allowed to do all these planing things. Yeah. And so the harmony sounds simple, yet way more complex at the same time.
Yeah.
But the harmonies are more complex.
So I feel like that's the reflection of maybe his interpretation of religion. Yeah, and that's or Christianity in that sense. It's like,
Yeah, a lot of Bible.
I see it, the chant style, but then they modernize it. So maybe there's a modern twist to his interpretation, and then he starts going into this. Yeah, it's like called spaghetti western.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the
So you have this
Western.
twangy, like atmospheric explanation of like old western film.
Yeah.
And you start going to that, and it's a whole journey from then on out. And even the ending, where it just doesn't end on a tonic, it still adds to the effect of the unknown that they're trying to convey. And I thought it was really nice. Just whatever faith whatever your faith is, it's very interesting to explain it through song. Yeah, enjoyed it.
You all seem really pissed off that entire time.
No, I mean, I was more thoughtful.
What were you thinking about?
Interesting how he used his song as a format to probably voice some sort of frustration, maybe with like his own childhood or something like that, which I can understand. This song reminds me a lot of like a symphonic poem, I think is what it's called in like classical rap, right? Or like, I guess almost like a sense in a film score too. And what I mean by that is using the music. I'm not necessarily just talking about the words, but I'm specifically also talking about the music, the meter, the orchestration, like what rhythmic values they're using, what motives they're repeating. Like, for example, in the verses, right? Like when he's talking about, in a sense, like running away from home, running away from what his parents told him to believe, like talking about anxiety, things like that. The meter is in 12/8, right? So it's like you're trudging along. It feels like it's hard moving from one beat to the next. You know, it's like it's forced. It's like oppressive. Going on top of that, like the guitar is like gone. You know, like kind of painting that picture. And then it's also interesting how when we get to the chorus, and you can tell all of a sudden with the lyrics too, his mind starts to race a lot more. All of a sudden we go into like more eighth note subdivision, like more intense feel, right? Like he's like, oh my goodness, like, but what if they're right? And like, then what do I need to do? And then going back. So really interesting how he used his song to paint a picture sonically and visually, like, and how that added to it. A lot of songs don't do that.
He lived in a manger.
No, he didn't live in it. He was born there.
Well, he lived in there for a bit. Then
Did
they had
he?
to leave.